During the Dark Age of technology, humanity built machines that could manipulate the warp itself. In this video, we're looking at how the Emperor commanded the warp with machines from the Dark Age, how he reached into the warp using it, and how this shaped the Primarchs, and what it reveals about how the Emperor and ancient humanity once wielded powers the Imperium can barely control today. This is part of a series exploring Dark Age tech and what they tell us about the Imperium's foundations. So, welcome friends to another 40k video, and shall we begin? In Era of Ruin, from the point of view of a custodian, we are told, I was there, the day Prometheus stole fire from the gods. Hado would chide me for that phrasing. I was there, as were they, on the day our king did what he should never have done. With great engines of scientific violence, he plunged his metaphysical hand into the realm behind reality's veil. When he withdrew his questing touch, still burning with the violation of breaking the dimensional barrier, there it was, a divine and malignant light. We asked it then, as you ask it now, as it will be asked in the darkening millennia to come, why? Each one of us was something bespoke, something wrought, just so. We were a mere 10,000 souls. If the galaxy's song is the screaming fusion of 100 billion stars, our presence was less than a whisper. Some of this type of Dark Age technology can be seen in the warp engines used to get in and out of it. They can go through those holes created by the engines, but we don't see them storing warp energy or using it in any other way. But I guess the manipulation of warp energy at all, to go in and out, might have some correlation with the Emperor getting his hand on some. Maybe combined with a Gala field, this creates a bubble of normal reality within the warp, so you can fly through it. It's that manipulation of warp physics overriding what would normally be wild and making it calm like normal reality. Then perhaps with Dark Age tech, he could create a safe zone to store the warp energy. I also think this moment could be the first time he did this, but more experiments will have followed. So what was he doing here? My take, whether you think this was done just with tech or that door on Molech, I'll explain that in a minute, is when he made the Primarchs, he created very powerful psychic beings using the power of the warp to bind that power to the bodies he made. That is why they are powerful. The alternative is, and another theory I strongly believe in, is they were bound to strong warp entities, beings that existed in the warp shaped by belief from the Imperium, and that gives each of the Primarchs a certain personality type, though we only have the idea from Sanguinius, who's made from two beings that hovered above Baal before even humanity got there. Or could this be his first step on the journey, how things go with the Emperor and the warp, a first experiment to contact and handle warp energy that led him to the gate at Molech, a way to bring it through and experiment with it, to learn what it could do. He was a scientist, amongst many other things after all. I think that's a strong possibility. He has been aware of the warp all his life. He encountered many things at the behest of other warlords during the Unification of Terror, for example, that seemed to be corrupted by the warp. Before we move on to the next part of the text, let's cover Molech in case you don't know. This was a planet the Emperor visited at some point during the Dark Age of technology, and it said that there was a gateway. The Emperor went through and he came out with new power and Primarch making knowledge. And it seems a lot of time had passed on his side, and he took this knowledge or stole this warp from the Chaos Gods. I believe this is all told to us by Horus. Now, that next excerpt, there are already scribblings that tell of an accord being reached, a deal being made, or, and one must pay heed to the phrasing of this one, a pact being sworn. I saw no smirking godlings or keeping sprites offering to sell tainted souls at midnight. I saw machines, I saw machinery torn out of a bygone age, when humanity had mastered marvels to put our greatest achievements now to shame. Our king hadn't invented these any more than he invented the Golden Throne. So some type of Dark Age of technology stuff was here, used after some Emperor modifications. And that fits into a theory of mine that they widely used warp energy in some regard during the Dark Age. With warp engines, this technology, the Golden Throne, or a device the Titans use, also from the Dark Age, called the Syracux Anima. It just makes too much sense to me to ignore all that evidence. And the mindset it mentions fits the Emperor. He starts off with an object, in this case the central module of the Golden Throne, and then he adds to it. So the Golden Throne, how he uses that is very much like how he's used these machines, combining different things to make things his own. His genius was never in creation, but recreation. His mastery was in dredging the truths and promises of the past, pulling them up into dim light of today. His vision for humanity's golden future was built on the techno-archaeological bones of the past. The engines I saw began as charcoal and parchment, evolving into hololithic skimmer, written in flickering lights through the stagnant air of the palace's catacombs, where these ancient engines call for elements of abominable intelligence from the era when robots could think and reason. Our king, the emperor, patchworked biotechnical solutions, blending engineering and necromancy. I really like the comments about AI, abominable intelligence as it's known within 40k. The emperor was around and seeing what AI had done to humanity during the cybernetic revolt. This rebellion took apart Dark Age humanity's empire and left them vulnerable to other Xenos and the warp storms and old night that followed. So, lesson learned, he avoids it and uses biotechnical solutions. This is exactly what we get with machine spirits, biotech to replace the AI that can never be quite advanced and rebel against what their purpose is. It's only from this excerpt here it occurs to me that the idea might have originated in some aspect with the Emperor, his efforts to replace AI's position so humanity can function with some tech they once had and avoid AI risk. He was around when this happened and off Earth, so must have had some knowledge of it happening and might want to avoid this destroying his new empire. Another part building into my theory from before, if he saw how Dark Age humanity used the warp like a source of energy and power and knew he might struggle to fight them, it's only after, as Earth breaks down into battles between petty warlords, that he emerges, one moment informing the other, and then he begins to conquer the fallen out ruins of terror. If you want to go deeper into this era, the next video in this series will look at Gellerfields and the Syracux Anima and one other device that escapes me at this time, and how they connect to the same Dark Age tech we've discussed here. And if you enjoyed this video, I will cover for you next. You might also like the two playlists I have on the channel. One covers everything, the other covers the Dark Age of technology specifically. I also cover Trench Crusade on the channel, which shares a lot of real world DNA with 40k. I will be getting back into Dune as well later this year. I want to turn to my favourite topics from that time, like the Fremen, the Bene Gesserit, and go over their lore with fresh eyes and hopefully fresh insight. But you'll see those videos listed when they're done.